Hi, I'm Chantal and welcome to Grounded Mind. This first video is going to talk a lot about my experience with vestibular migraine and how I found out that that's what I had. And I'm hoping that these videos will help somebody who is struggling to find some kind of help, some reassurance, some support and a new future. And of course, a new grounded way of thinking. So I'm going to start off by telling you my journey. So, a bit of background about vestibular migraine before I get into the symptoms. I have suffered from, I'm going to sneeze 1 second. I am a real person, so I do sneeze, and I'm going to keep that on there as well. So yes, I have suffered with, I wouldn't say suffered, but I've had episodes in my life where I've had vertigo. Not a lot of vertigo, probably like once every couple of years, and also issues with my iron. From a video that you'll see on my channel from years ago, I had a condition, which I still do have now, which is in remission, called lichen planus, which is an autoimmune condition that affects your skin. This video isn't going to go into too much detail about that, but that's a bit of background in terms of health conditions. And also I'm known to have like low iron and etc. So back to vestibular migraine. I had my kind of first chronic type symptom in November 2021. I just started a new job and I was driving to a colleague's birthday party, and where I was driving was about 30 minutes from my house because I was working from home. And as I was driving, and actually before I got in the car, I was quite busy doing some work, and the work I was doing it wasn't intense, but it was a lot of work that I was doing. So I kind of was in a state of, I need to get this finished before I go and drive to this lady's birthday party. And so when I got in the car, I felt fine. And then I was driving along an A road, and I just felt this sense of, it felt as if I was off balance, but then I felt dizzy, and I thought, oh gosh, is this the start of my vertigo? Because from having vertigo in the past, it's been when I've been quite stressed. And so I pulled over, and it was just getting worse, and it was getting worse. But I was working myself up because I was quite paranoid. I was on like an A road, like a country road, and I didn't know what to do. I couldn't keep driving, so I stopped the car and I called my mum. I was like, Mum, I don't know what's going on. I feel really dizzy and off balance, and I was really panicking. And then I felt like I couldn't breathe, and it felt like I wasn't in the car, if that makes any sense. I felt like I was somewhere else, but I was in the car. And then I was panicking, I was shaking, and I was staring out the window and like not seeing things properly. And then in the end, I called an ambulance who came to get me. They came and picked me up, and they brought me to hospital, did all the checks, and like everything was fine. Had all my bloods done, and I think my iron came back low. So I blamed it on that. I thought, okay, I need to, because I have been anemic in the past. So they prescribed me some iron tablets and went on my way. And then, so I felt a bit weird, but I didn't feel bad. And then I went to work the following weeks, and I was in a meeting with all my colleagues there. It's like a monthly meeting, and the projector was on, and the lights really triggered me, and I felt really ill and like dizzy, and it was like the start of a vertigo episode, but it wasn't quite there. But I just felt like the walls were caving in on me, and it just, there was quite a few people in there, and I just felt really like out of it. So I walked out and sat in my car, and a colleague came with me, and she sat with me, and I said, I just feel really bad. I just feel like dizzy, and it was vertigo, but like it was weird. It wasn't quite vertigo. And then in the end, my dad had to pick me up, and my brother came and got my car, and then I was at home, and I just thought, what is this? So I called the doctors. I went to the doctors the next day, and they just said it's vertigo. You know, it will pass, kind of thing. And then I thought this is odd, because when I have vertigo, when I've had it in the past, I usually, like, I'm dizzy and I can't drive. I've got to lie down or sit in a certain position, and then after a few hours it will stop, and then the next day it'll feel a bit better, and then the next day I'll be fine again, and I won't feel it for another year or so. But this was different. It just felt really different. And I remember going to sleep, and I went to bed, and in the middle of the night I woke up to this like buzzing, so like a buzzing sound, like bzzz. I was like, what the heck is that? Oh my gosh, my ears were ringing, and I was so paranoid and scared at this point. And went back to the doctors, and I explained to them that my ears were buzzing, and I didn't feel very well, and I was working from home at this point, and then I started to Google things, and then I was Googling like tinnitus and vertigo. So I was Googling tinnitus and vertigo, and I saw this thing called Meniere's disease. And of course I was like, oh my gosh, chronic dizziness and tinnitus for basically the rest of your life. And I was like, oh, and then it's like my symptoms just all of a sudden got worse, and I was just panicking. And then I was reading about how to cure myself, and all these different gadgets. And at this point the doctors had referred me to ENT, so I was waiting, and I had to speak to work, and work was so good about this, so they allowed me to work from home. And bright lights were triggering it. I was reading about all the different things I could do to kind of like stop it. So I stopped eating salty foods, and which actually did help. I went on a no or low salt diet, and I joined a support group on Facebook. I was listening to everyone's problems, and like I was really involved in it. And it was just awful. I felt like rubbish. I couldn't go to the supermarkets to buy food because I felt paranoid and very self-aware. It was like it was almost as if I was here but I wasn't here, and like my head would shake with me, and it was a feeling of paranoia. I felt like people were staring at me. I felt like I couldn't like be me, and that there was this cover or this kind of shadow over me that was stopping me from being who I was, and that made me paranoid. And then it was just awful. The days I did go into work would be a massive thing for me to actually walk in the building and sit there, and I couldn't think. My brain completely just went from like normal to zero. Like brain fog was just immense. It was just awful. And then on top of that, the tinnitus. I went to the opticians, got my eyes tested to see whether it was to do with the strength of my glasses. I got like tinted glasses so I could wear them in the office. I didn't go into like presentations unless I had them on, and it was just not nice. It was really awful. In a few months of just kind of trying to understand what was going on, and I did a lot of reading from people that put things into the support groups on Facebook. And and my appointment finally came through to see the ENT specialist and or consultant, which was I think it was the August. And it was such a long wait, and I thought, I'm gonna have to deal with this for this long. I mean, we're talking, it was probably around like January, February now, and I've been dealing with this since not like November. And working, looking after children, trying to just run a home. It was a struggle. But the no eating salt did help. I went on a low salt diet, and I felt a lot better. So I lost loads of weight. But it was still there. That feeling of like not being able to think, that feeling paranoid to go to work, not being able to drive as much as I used to. I didn't go on motorways. I just drove short distances, tried to work from home as much as I could. The feeling of not being in my own body, and somebody like almost taking over my body. The feeling, it was every single day. The feeling of just feeling unbalanced. It just felt as if, I can't explain the sensation, but it was like an unbalanced feeling. The tinnitus was awful. I was doing all of these kind of head movement like therapy, like I was putting my hands in my fingers in my ear and massaging, and then massaging my neck, and just doing really weird exercises that I had read upon because I really wanted to get better. And some of these things did help like ease it. I'd say probably like 50%, but it was still there. So
I'm going to explain what happened next in my next video. But in this video, it's all about kind of how it came into fruition, if you like, this vestibular migraine issue. And so, yes, see you in the next video.